Minute Till 6. I'm your host, Mark Haynes, along with my guy right here,
Chris Perry.
And as y'all know, the big fella, Mr. Greg Oden, man.
Yo.
Appreciate you for coming. Appreciate my guys over here to the right, Mykell and Himes.
Sir, thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, for sure. But man, Gio, man, this has been this is our third attempt at this, man. We finally got you.
You've been working, trying at it.
I'm happy y'all decided to come to me.
Few technical difficulties, but
hey, that's what you in my state, man. I'm gonna make it happen.
I appreciate y'all.
He was texting me the times last night, and then at one point I was like, "He's on East Coast time. Crap, what time does it mean?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at that and I was like, yeah, that's gonna be bad. And I was like, that's the middle of the game. That's about halftime.
This is Ohio State game.
As y'all can see, Buckeyes today.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, man, we wrapped up your first season, the Big Three. Congrats to that.
Thank
you. It was a pleasure watching you out there.
Yeah.
What do you take from year one?
I enjoyed it. Like for me, it was I enjoyed basketball again. Going out there, I wasn't having the anxiety of we gotta win, we gotta make like it was fun. That was my mindset of coming out here. I was like, okay, look, don't get hurt for one. Right. Have fun playing basketball again. And after that first game, I saw the reception, I saw the fans. And it was like they just wanted to see those guys who they used to watch and follow play basketball again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to win.
Yeah. Once everything got settled, it was like,
once I got my mind right and knew how everything was working, being in professional basketball again, and figuring out the competition, then I kind of was able to maneuver it. So I'm pretty sure next year is going to be a lot better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I felt like you had a good season, but I feel like you were trying to find your footing most of the time and just still getting used to things. And before you knew it, the season was over. So I'm like, next year I feel like you got to come in hard and hit it.
I'm going to be in better shape. I'm going to be stronger. And it's going to be a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's good, man. I was excited just when I found out you was in it. I was like, yeah, man, I hope my guy, have a good, healthy, 10 weeks or whatever, something like that? 9. Yeah, 9 weeks. The playoffs. But first game, I think you got like 2 dunks early.
Yeah, quick.
First game, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brandon Rush for giving that bounce pass.
Yeah.
I just need to feel the rim a little bit.
That's it. Let me touch it. Okay. I remember this now.
Hey, so what type of adjustment, for all you guys? You used to playing fives, going up and down the court, and now with 3-on-3 half court ball. Like, what type of adjustment you guys have to make with your games?
Really, it's knowing the rules. I seen a couple in the first 2 seasons. A guy would make a shot and start jogging back. It's like, oh wait, no.
True. Yeah.
But it's you gotta think a little bit more. I mean, it's 3-on-3, so it's more kind of one-on-one, more open. But what we got into this year, I know my team and myself personally, you just got to banging around with big bodies down low, and it's like, all right, now. Gonna do that for 10 weeks. So you just gotta think a little bit more and figure out, how can you get the most out of all this space without killing yourself, really.
Would you say that then big men, in a sense, do have an advantage in the Big Three over the NBA because it is more one-on-one?
I would say so. I mean, for me, you give me 2 dribbles and
I'm good.
I mean, that's before the double team.
Can't really double it.
Especially it seemed like the NBA trying to wean the big guys out. Yeah. I feel like the Big Three really kind of brought the spotlight back to them.
Well, you could say that they're winging the big guys out, but if Embiid or Towns decided I'm just gonna dunk everything, that's the big man. It just depends on the game. If you got a guy that comes in like Shaq, you're gonna be like, oh, the big man's back. I look at it like these bigs now are just very skilled basketball players.
Right,
exactly.
You can dribble, you can handle the ball, you can shoot threes, and you can go down there and be bigger than everybody else. That's just a good basketball player.
Eventually, after a while, man, I think the game of basketball is gonna be full of basically bigs, but it's not even, you know, like I said, they're not necessarily considered big men. They're
Traditional bigs.
great skilled basketball players.
Right.
They just,
Yeah.
you know, look at Giannis and Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
Embiid,
Embiid,
those guys.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Joker.
guys that like came before this era started, like the guy I always use is Anthony Randolph, a guy who was before his time, a guy who was truly like athletic, would be the ideal big in today's NBA now. You know, had the ability to shoot, had the ability to stretch the floor, was a big man, long and lanky. I mean, if you look at it, he had Giannis's build.
Right.
He just came too early, and now the era of the NBA that we're in now, it's positionless basketball.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be able, especially it's the Steph Curry effect. Everyone on the court has to be able to shoot a three.
Right.
Stretch.
I think Joe could probably develop a three, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
The four ball.
I feel like you can develop. Listen, I've never seen anybody when you broke your hand at Ohio State and switched to just your left hand.
Impressive.
I felt like you can do anything after that.
Man.
You know, in practice, I be hitting them 4-point shots. Shooting them threes, I be hitting my JR spin. But,
Shout out to
man,
JR
in
too.
the game, I be like, what? But why? Like, I can take two
Go down.
three dribbles with you
Smart.
right by the basket.
Easy
Yeah.
bucket. Easy bucket.
You know, from a personal standpoint, like, do you see players using the big three as a way to, instead of, you know, going completely into retirement, they kind of continue their career, or do they use it as a way to get back to the NBA mostly?
Speaking for myself, I just use it as a chance to play basketball and get a nice little check.
No.
That's cool.
Sure.
But you know, some guys could. You know, these guys were playing in NBA arenas. These guys feel comfortable again. They're in the locker rooms again, and the organization people are coming. They're watching. The
Yeah.
coaches, you know, a lot of the players.
Joe
Yeah,
Johnson,
Joe.
yeah.
And a
that's
lot of these
another
guys are
example.
showing like, look, I can still play. I mean, you add just getting in the up and down part of it. You
And
know,
it's
you
easy.
can use some of these vets, you know, that been around the league for a while, know a little bit of knowledge because the league's really young now.
No,
you know,
right,
you need
right.
guys to bring some of that knowledge. So.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I didn't even feel like Joe should have been out of the league personally. I was very confused by that. But yeah, even guys like Amari earlier in the season and during summer league was doing workouts and
Vegas.
stuff. So I think it goes both ways. You got some people that's just here to collect
Yeah,
the check
just
and ball and
good.
hoop again. And you
Sure.
got some people that's trying to get back into where they was. So.
I mean, the one guy I think about that people don't talk about, C.J. Watson and Will Bynum, man.
Yeah,
Shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, let me see them check out and come full head of speed. I was like, nah, hell, what's up?
Definitely. I
Weak
see
side,
that.
weak side.
that fake sham guy that he hit.
Oh,
that was crazy.
Oh man, I be looking at people like that. Like one young boy tried to do an open gym the other day, and I just grabbed him. I was like, nah. I told Nate Robinson too that game that they beat us the last game of the season. I was like, look, you go between my legs, I'm grabbing you. Like that's
It's
what's
not
going
going down like
that. I'm not getting embarrassed, and I don't move that quick, Larry. So,
You know, but Gio, I want to take you back a little bit to your stint with Miami, and you know that was the comeback year. Like as people know that follow me, I'm a big LeBron fan, so I was a Miami Heat fan. And
At the time.
now with the Lakers, we you know it's contract things.
Also,
we move-
Clippers now.
no Clippers, but how was that experience? You know, you've been out at that point. Was it you was out like 4 years or something like that?
at that point, it was 3.
Three and some change.
Yeah. So doing some change and coming back. You know, y'all had championship aspirations and stuff, and you know came up short that year. But what was that experience like playing with LeBron, D Wade, Bosh, and the rest?
UD.
Of them?
Yeah, Pat Riley. That's big
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
Mario Chalmers.
Sean Lewis, right?
Let's not talk about
Michael
Mario.
Beasley,
Yeah.
Just no Ray Allen. I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, boss.
Okay, let me answer the question.
Yeah, let's focus on this.
I loved it. You know, that team was surreal. You know, I kind of took a bad approach to it though, because they had just won 2 in a row.
Right.
So me coming in, I was like, all right, don't mess nothing up because they good. You know, just be that piece when need be. The tough part for me playing wise is I wouldn't practice because they were just trying to maintain for the games. So it's hard to get a rapport on the court with these guys when you can't even practice with them. I mean, I'm watching Brian do crazy things in practice. I swear to God, it looked like he dunked over the whole entire team in the preseason practice. Like he jumped from the free throw line, and the whole team was under the free throw line. I swear to God. I mean, but you see the work that they put in before, after practice. You see these guys when practice is over doing shooting drills, being competitive. You see the work that they put in when you come in and get some extra shots up, and Brian got the whole arena shut down because he in there working out, you know, while he's doing the commercial. You know? Damn, okay. Shane Battier, just talking with that man and getting some of his knowledge, and he's probably one of the best people in the world.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised he's not a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Ray Allen getting his knowledge, breaking down, you know, some of the stuff that he learned in Boston playing with other greats and, you know, through his years. But from the coaching staff, seeing top-notch, for me, championship preparation, championship development. That's something I really took into place when I look at basketball now. You know, these guys were dedicated to one goal, and that's winning and being the best team out there. You know, that was the first time when I saw basketball that the basketball was on the string for all 5 guys. You know, coming from, you know, a big man and how I'm used to, you know, we're going to run a play to get this one person the ball. And in Miami, it was like, if this action is made, the play changes and everybody needs to know this. You know, I think that's how people look at the game now and how it's played. But that was my first time seeing that firsthand.
Right.
Hydrated kind of.
Yeah.
Was it like Spoelstra he was big on doing now, or did it come down from Pat to say, hey, let's find a way to keep this ball moving and make sure all the guys touch it?
I just think that's how their offense was set up.
Okay.
But it was the blessing of having smart players who can do that. Because some guys can't even take that. Some guys don't even know how to run a weave right.
True.
So when you got guys that are that, you know, I'm thinking about that team and those type of guys, you know, they're smart as hell. They're all going to be Hall of Famers in my eyes. You know, 2-time champions, everybody but me. I'm kind of hurt.
That was like the first time we truly saw positionless basketball like occur in the NBA.
Yeah, you know, they started going small. And that was like the first time in that time when they started doing it. It was like, hold on, what's this? But when it started
I'm about to say, man, don't be trying to see me like he ain't big out here.
He was the man. But everybody, you know, anything go wrong, he was the blind.
I mean,
you know,
Rio was the blind all the time.
On the court.
Oh, my bad. North Cole. I got you.
Behind the scenes, it was always Rio, but like to the media, it was always
to the media.
The media took it out on
it wasn't even like the players. It was like
LeBron.
the big three.
LeBron just sunned Rio every chance he got. I felt like.
No, I mean, I really think it was. He wanted the best for him.
He wanted
to push him to be better and be that championship point guard who he is. You know, and I think Bron just got that. He wants the best for everyone. That's just emotion that we all have when we're out there playing in the sport.
Right, and you know who you can reach like that. You know, you know if you just got to come have a conversation on the side with him, or if I can dig into you and that's gonna light your fire. So I totally understood.
Shout out to Rio for being mentally tough enough.
Even on top of all that, you know, everybody else on the outside talking trash about it.
Even Obama said something.
Yeah, you're right. Because you see, like, the Lakers last year, they couldn't handle it. Like, all that pressure that comes with playing with LeBron, like, for everybody else. Like, he's LeBron. You know, not too many people go say bad things about him. But if he do something wrong, it comes down to everybody else. Not even if he do something wrong, but if something goes wrong, you know, it falls on. Like, I think JR said, like, he's the easiest and hardest player to play with because it's like, if you're winning, you know, everybody looks good. Once you lose, you didn't do this, you know, to the media. So.
I used to tell my friends this. It's like, it's great and hard at the same time, but I used to be like, it's hard to put your imprint on a game when you're playing with somebody that dominates the whole game.
Yes, every aspect.
Like, Can I be the best dunker on the team? I'm gonna get this good rebound. You gonna take the rebound, 7'5" alley-oop. You like, all right.
It's crazy.
Here fit in when you give me
It's crazy because that's what you hear. You know, when playing with these great guys like Kobe, you know, Shaq, Bron, Jordan, that, you know, you have to not only adjust your play, but just your whole attitude because, you know, like you said, when things are going good, everything is great. Things are going bad, it's like, it's your fault. Y'all gotta figure this out, you know? So I know that's a tough thing for, you know, most players to adjust to.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, we basketball players, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, the game's moving so fast, you got to be able to adjust. And another thing about those Miami teams is I felt like they were so much of a team that the outside noise didn't bother them. They knew what they needed to do, and they worked on that. And even though the chatter was coming from every which way, when we got into practice and when we was together, you know, it wasn't about any of that. You know, it was just about how can we be better, how can we be more of a team.
I feel like with all the championship teams, dating back as far as I can remember, Phil Jackson days, Bulls, things like that, was everybody had their role.
True.
Like, it didn't matter who the players was, the names, as long as they had their role, it didn't matter. You had, you know, people were selfless. Dennis Rodman and things like that. Pippen, you know, he knew Jordan was the man. I'm gonna do my defense. Same thing when the Lakers was winning. He brought in Metta World Peace, who before that was balling for the Rockets. He was the man for the Rockets. And he comes over and feels like, I just want you to play defense, and that's it.
Be tough.
Be tough, play. So everybody always had a role, and I felt that for that team. And you can always pick that out in the teams during the season. Like, as long as everybody has their role, same thing with the Raptors this year.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You see that everybody's playing their role and they bought in, that's pretty damn hard to beat, man.
Yeah. Tell me this, what was the feeling for the guys once Bron decided to leave? Like, were people upset or did they understand, like, okay, he's going back home?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody because I was already out of Miami by
Oh,
that
okay.
time.
Yeah.
But shoot, I was happy he made a decision for him.
Yeah.
You know, I stopped questioning Bron after his first championship in Miami. He did that interview, and I remember him saying, like, dude, I'm from Akron. Like, it takes me 30 minutes to get to Cleveland. Like, moving to Miami was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. And, you know, the backlash he got from that move. So, like, after he said that, I looked at it like, you're right.
Nothing that you can say
Yeah,
about
get
that.
uncomfortable to get that championship, get different perspective in life.
And bring it back.
Yeah.
You mentioned all the team being like one of the best at putting out the noise, like from the media. There is one in particular show host in general that I know was critical of LeBron during that time. It was Skip. Would you say that Skip Bayless might be the most hated sportscaster from that era for Miami? If there was one figurehead that was talking a lot of smack.
I wouldn't know. I never listened to it.
I respect that so much.
He just said he was hooping.
I mean, what is he going to tell me that Spo didn't tell us in the locker room after the game?
He averaged 1 point per game on a senior varsity team in high school.
Junior varsity.
Junior varsity. There we go. I'm sorry.
I was like, well, shoot, it's varsity. Got about 25 points a season.
Yeah, then, man. You know, you drafted number 1, Portland. You know, high expectations. You know, and injuries, you know, plagued you from the jump. You know, sat out the whole year. Your first almost 2 seasons, the first 2 seasons, or you came back.
I played 62 games that second season.
The second season, okay, and then you know another injury, and dealing with injuries got to be tough.
42.
Oh, you know it had to be tough, and this season, and not even season, this bit the playoffs since the playoffs and the off season has been, you know, first KD went down, Klay Thompson. In the summer, you know, Boogie, you know, major injuries or whatever, and you know, how would you, you know, advise them to, you know, deal with it, and you know, what steps you think, you know, like how big of a toll it is emotionally, and because you know, physically, of course, but
What advice would you have?
what advice would you have?
Well, first, I want to say get well soon, fellas. I enjoy watching y'all play, for real. But I think it's big mentally, because you can go and you can keep on doing the rehab, you know, do it right, get your hour or 2 hours. It's going to get better. But if your mind's not there, you know, you can go different ways. Like for me, I was rehabbing so much that like it got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm almost back. Damn, I ain't even touched the court yet. Like, I wasn't even thinking about basketball. Like, my day of working out consists of rehabbing and lifting weights. Like, it was no room for basketball in there, and then I just wasn't thinking that way, you know. My mind was, you know, just get this knee back, and I can pick up where I left off on the court. But, you know, you got to be able to get out there, and if you can't move, sit in the chair, make sure that your shot's getting better, you know, improve, and make sure the one thing that you do love that you're trying to get back to is always, you know, that number one goal. You know, you're trying to take care of yourself, but mentally you want to be prepared. Like, all right, I'm here for basketball. Let me learn the game a little bit more. Let me be more of a coach now since I can't play.
Right.
But also, don't do stupid shit to re-injure yourself. You know, I did that a couple of times. Excuse my language. I did some stuff to re-injure, and it's just like, why? You know, you want to listen to these guys. You want to listen to your body. You want to make sure you are able to do the things that they're asking you to do. There's just so much that comes with it. But I mean, from my standpoint, it's really get a team around you. Be in tune with your own body. If they're telling you, you know, it's time for squats, and you feel like you can't do squats because you can barely get out of bed, then you need a second opinion. You know, you need to be sure that your body's ready, but you also need to be mentally prepared for all that's going to come from all those injuries.
I was going to continue off of what you just said, just about the mental state of things, because even I look at even football, you see Andrew Luck just retire abruptly. You see Gronkowski retire abruptly, where they both say, you know, mentally they're just gone or checked out right now. And then I know that you kind of struggle with some things mentally during the injury. So, what was that phase like for you? Because looking at you now, it's like night and day.
You look happy.
Yeah. I can tell you're in a great place. But you just touch on that mental state of things.
Well, first, shout out to both of them. Big fans. But I'm happy that they were able to walk away from the game with their health, so to speak. I know Andrew Luck's a little different situation where he's like, I was so drained and it took so much from me that I don't think I could physically do it. And I applaud these guys for looking at their lives and being like, I need to do this for me. I got to get away from the sport and be happy, find my happiness. And not a lot of guys do that. And I think in a mental space and mental awareness, especially for football, you know, it is so grueling on your body and your mental and friends here and there trying to make the team. That a lot of these guys, all they know is football. Since Pop Warner, they don't know how to be happy. They don't know how to look at themselves and be like, what do I enjoy outside of football or smoking weed to numb my body from the pain for football, you know? So I really do applaud them being able to take that step. And you know, Gronk, the best way to go out. I swear to God, I would have retired after we won in Miami. I don't know, like, well, you can't say nothing to me now.
Drop the mic.
For fans, like, players understand the sense of retiring before, you know, because you want to stay healthy, you want to also be mentally healthy before you lose the love of the game, right? But fans don't necessarily understand that. So if there's anything is there one thing that you would say to fans to help them understand the athlete's perspective?
Just because you turn off the TV doesn't mean they're not a person. You know, like, these guys are all people. They're going through the same struggles you're going through in life. You know, they're going to their families and dealing with stuff within their families, just like you. You know, they're still getting bills as well, just because they're getting paid a little bit more than you think. I mean, these guys are. I mean,
the only reason I ask that is because people always talk about, like, fantasy players, you know, like with NFL fantasy, they talk about players as if they're commodities, as if they're players, not actual people.
It's
same thing with
the fanatics. That's what
and it's kind of like those games and apps turn them into you know, pieces and pawns and assets instead of being actual humans. And so, I mean, I think for your question, I don't think they really can see it from a player's perspective because they're not a player.
Then a human
Most of
perspective.
them
They're lost in fantasy.
That's what they need to see it
Then a
from a
human
human
perspective.
perspective, which that's a problem with our whole nation. That's a difference.
I mean, but you know, sometimes I look at it as, you know, you can feel how you want to feel, but I need, as a player, I need to do me. I need to be my own human. So whatever somebody else is doing, hopefully it's not going to affect me that much.
Right.
You go on with your life, I go on with mine. That's kind of how I'm looking at things.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So, question. With you dealing with all the injuries and then like the guys we named, KD, Boogie, like for you, did you like go seek out like a mental therapist and people just to help with that? And do you feel more athletes should do that? Because the wear and tear on your body is one thing, but like you said, what it does to you mentally, it's like, man, you need to have these people that can talk to you and help you any way they can.
Yeah, I have. I mean, the one thing for me, I guess she's not officially a therapist now, but she's my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Having somebody that I can talk to and tell my struggles, you know, every day. You know, 'cause a lot of people just keep to themselves. I know I went through some times where I didn't want to talk to nobody and just stayed away from everybody. But having that professional help, I mean, it gives you another perspective and another way to look at things differently. And I think we all need that because we all been taught one way, we all think one way, and just to have somebody outside looking in, I think that's definitely a plus.
Yeah,
right.
To us.
Right. And man, we like you said in the beginning, man, we appreciate you. Letting us come down and chop it up with you, man. I hope we can do this again another time, and I hope next time we can do it on the first try.
Right. But we gotta get, before you go, your prediction for the championship game tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
My prediction is you will see the aliens because I will be in the stands wearing the aliens hat. Out the aliens. Well, first I want to say thank you, Ice Cube, and everybody involved in the Big 3 League. It was a blessing to me. I really enjoyed it and hoping I can be back next year, maybe a captain, maybe a coach.
MVP.
Yeah, MVP. I was just
Here we
about to
go.
say.
But it's hard to go against Lisa Leslie.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I saw Big Al
Coach
last night, and I was sitting there. I was like, first game we played them, right? And we were supposed to win. We was up by 10, and then they came back. But I grew up playing against Big Al, so it's like, okay, if you're gonna go over there to Double Joe, Big Al's going right hand. It's gonna be a quick finish, a quick dunk on you. Ain't no double team, and Joe's so strong. It's like. What can you do? But like I said, C.J. Watson, he ain't gonna take that. Steven Jackson, he ain't gonna take that. And hopefully they get Big Eddie Curry in there because the game that he did play, he actually did really freaking good. But those guys gonna be a battle. I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna see what it's like to win a championship. I might take the trophy.
Oh yeah, this is a question we always ask. I almost forgot.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I need your Mount Rushmore of top 4 players of all time.
Of all time.
They always end with the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, we all gotta do that. Yeah.
Wilt.
Big man.
No.
Is this in order?
No.
Mount Rushmore. What's the order on a mountain?
Wilt, Bron.
I just like Brown was up there on the board early.
Bill Russell.
Oscar Robinson.
New
There
entry.
you go.
I have to say Jordan. But I got Shaq and Larry the Legend right there, Kareem right there. So it's tough. Magic.
Bill Russell.
Forget that. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Shaq, and Wilt.
Damn.
David Robinson is my favorite player.
The Admiral.
The Admiral is
The big
not
fundamental.
Double? Come on.
Beast.
I tell people all the time that game he got 50. He shot mid post, like in the middle of the
whole
paint.
game.
I was like,
Oh,
nobody
70,
shooting.
wasn't it? Didn't he score
70.
Yeah, the
70,
game,
yeah.
the game where
It
he
was
had to
like-
win the scoring title against Shaq.
Yeah,
And he
it was like
dropped
a step
70.
under the free throw line. I was like, don't nobody shoot that shot no more. This man got 70 on that
70 on
shot.
that shot.
Yeah, man. And once again, thanks to my guys right here.
Good news.
Yep.
Good
Hans
News
Mykell.
Radio. Appreciate y'all. And I'm your host, Mark Haynes, along with
Chris Perry.
and it's a minute till 6. Till next time.